Do we live in a free country? Well, it depends on what you want to call freedom. When I was a small boy, I saw the movie Moses with Charlton Heston, and I thought this was going to be an interesting movie, and this little guy comes out and speaks at the very beginning of the movie. His name was Cecil B. DeMille, and he asked the question, are men the property of the state, or are they free souls under God? This battle continues throughout the world today. That stuck with me since I was that little boy. What did he mean by that? Are we free souls under God, or are we property of the state? Well, in Egypt, people were in the bondage of Egypt. The Israelites were in the bondage of Egypt. It got worse from when they first went into bondage, but they went into bondage because they didn't have their own provisions. There was hard times of famine, and they made a deal with the Pharaoh that they would serve the Pharaoh as these bondservants of the Pharaoh. And he would charge them 1/5 of everything they earned. That's what the Bible tells us. 20% income tax. And they were in bondage. And they needed someone to save them from that bondage because they couldn't break the contract on their own. But they were in bondage because they had to pay that 1/5. And even the property they owned, they only had a legal title to. But that may be too complicated to go into right now. Just the basics. In America and Israel today and in almost every country of the world, people pay at least 1/5 income tax to the state. Some places they pay 30%, 40%, 50%, even 70% of everything they earn goes to the government. And they call it freedom. Well, you call it what you will. It used to be called bondage. Now we call it freedom. That's kind of like 1984. They've renamed bondage and call it freedom. So no, most countries are not free. Most people are not free. Most people are in bondage. How did they get there is very important to understand. Because if you're lost, the best thing to find out is, how did I get to where I'm at? And the next question is to ask, where do I want to go? And then proceed on how you're going to get there. So, no, we don't live in a free country for the most part. Nobody does anywhere in the whole world. They're just getting around to realizing that now, and they don't like to hear it. But that's the price of hearing the truth. It's sometimes painful.